Yeah, hi folks. Now after leaving the Kaimanama Wall near Taupo, we headed for the Waitomo glowworm caves the next day as my wife wanted to see the glowworms. And she felt really ripped off, and rightfully so. She paid $61 for the hour, for which she only got about 10 minutes viewing the glowworms. The rest of the time was all fluff, people singing songs and stupid stuff like that. So the next day we headed for the tattooed rocks in Raglan. But alas, it wasn't to be. Roadblocks and detours delayed us so much we missed the right tide. So I did this instead.
Yeah, hi folks. Today we're at Manu Bay in Raglan. Now I've been here before.
About 15 years ago.
Because the tattooed rocks are way over on the point there.
Yeah, now I don't think that far out. I think back here somewhere, around this point here.
Way over on the point there. And we had trouble getting here today because roadblock after roadblock got us really delayed, and the weather is turning bad now. So I had planned to go right out there today and show you the rocks that I saw before, but we can't get there today because the tide is, well, it's almost high tide now, and if it goes right up to high tide, it's pretty much impossible to get back. So we can't go there, but I'm just going to show you where to go if you want to come here. So this is the Manu Bay boat ramp. Oh my God, I don't know how they put boats in from there anyway. So you have to go along the rocks here, scramble along the rocks, right out. You can't even get past there at the moment. Right out to the point there. And over there you should see about up to about 27 tattooed rocks. Now when I was there last time I couldn't see all that many because they're getting eroded away. This is an absolute disgrace what's going on here. Really a disgrace. This is our history being destroyed because the government wants to hide everything, and iwi want to hide everything. Now some say that Maori writing, but Maori had no writing. Well, the pictograms are Maori, but they're not Maori because they had no writing whatsoever. So it is definitely pre-Maori. So you go right out to the end there, and the last time I saw about 4 or 5 good ones, but they're pretty much eroded now. It's gone. Our history's almost gone. But you might want to go out there anyway. So this is a surf beach here. Now I've got some notes here from an article. Now these petrographs,
petroglyphs, I think it is.
They resemble some that were found in a cave in Arianjaya. Which depict Greek ships, and some say they depict Phoenician writings, or some of the characters depict Phoenician writing, and some say I think it's Sumerian script, some sort of Sumerian script for bread or something like that. Either way, it is absolutely disgusting. And anyway, what can you say, folks? It's just... Now, if there were Maori, they would be in a museum by now, and they'd be protected. So they're obviously not Maori, they are pre-Maori, and it is absolutely disgusting what they're doing here. The government is just covering all this up and letting it happen. Anyway, I'll show you the directions how to get here, which is quite easy, really. You just come along. What road was it? Now I'll get to the road in a moment. road anyway. I'll tell you a bit later. I'll put it in the description below, the name of the road and the directions how to get here.
Yeah, anyway folks, here are some photos I took when I was there last time. Now you can hardly see that one. And that one as well. It's hard to see as well. Yeah, now to some strange rocks I saw when I was there. Now I'm not sure if these have been man-made or carved in by man or not, or whether this is just natural. Now this one definitely looks like a kind of man-made holes here. Looks like it's been ground out by some sort of grinding tool of some kind. And the same with this one as well. It's very, very uniform and smooth. Yeah, now after staying near Waihee for the night, we headed for the standing stones in Opito Bay on the Coromandel Peninsula after watching this video.
Conventional history tells us that New Zealand was perhaps the last country to be populated by humanity. Located in the southernmost part of the Pacific, we are told that the first Polynesians arrived around 1300 AD, with perhaps the Moriori's arriving a couple of hundred years earlier. In 1979, the Anthropology Department of Auckland University discovered, on private land, on Mount Tahanga.
Yeah, now we climbed that ridge and it's nothing like this now. It's really, really overgrown now with very, very long kikuyu grass, up to my waist in parts.
At Opito Bay, Coromandel, an array of ancient standing stones. There was no excited announcement nor any media coverage, and so the matter was swept under the carpet, and the public in general were none the wiser. On the winter solstice of the 21st of June 2014, a small expedition, after gaining the owner's permission of course, went to investigate the sunset.
Right, amongst the many components that have been purpose-placed on the top of the Tahanga Hill is this very, very special stone, which is the hubstone of the hill. And it's typical of the shape of many hubstones around New Zealand, a sort of a shark's fin shape. Now, where it sits, the line from it to the peak of Moihau Mountain is 300 degrees. So one could use that for setting up the equivalent of an ancient theodolite. And then once that angle was known, the angle to north, south, east and west could be determined. And all of the outlying islands, some of them far off to the south, all around the horizon, every target, its position could be very accurately determined. Right, I'm at the hubstone, and directly behind me, over here, is Okinau Island. Now, it has a beautiful notch in it, and directly in line with that notch, on the sea horizon, is where the sun will rise. You'll get first glint of the sun on the day of the equinox.
Yeah, hi guys. Wow, after climbing over electric fences, barbed wire fences, going through swamps, we finally got here to Martin Dotree's standing stones. And boy guys, believe me, it's not worth the effort. Well, it is worth it, but it's a slog. Long grass. There's no gorse though, and no blackberry, but it was pretty tough going. Anyway, this is the standing stone that Martin first mentioned, the one that looks like a shark's tooth, and some idiot has gone and put his initials on there. That's disgusting. Anyway, this is the one that points over Mohau Mountain, way over in the distance there. It's the highest one in the Coromandel Peninsula. And the island in the background there is Little Barrier. You come around to Great Barrier, and this is Great Mercury here. Come down here. Now if you come down here, you can look over beautiful Opito Bay. It's absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice. And there's a Maori Pa on the end if you want to walk to that. But my God, that's a high climb and a hard climb. Yeah, now Martin talked about an island called Hinau Island, and he talks about a notch in the side of it. Well, there's the notch right there, to the middle, almost to the middle, and to the right of it. Now, on the exact day of the equinox, the sun rises exactly behind that notch and comes right back to here. Now, this is in order to keep calendars correct and true. Now, often where these standing stones are, there's also a modern day trig station, and there's one just over there. Now, they're doing this for a reason, folks. The modern day people are pretty much copying the original settlers here.
The question is, who put these stones here with such precision? Standing stones were a characteristic of Neolithic times in the British Isles and parts of northern France, roughly between 4000 and 2000 BC. We know very little about this period except that these ancient people were obsessed with the marking of time and seasons in order to maximise their societies. Of all the varieties of standing stones in the British Isles, the ones in Ireland are most similar to the arrangements we find in New Zealand. A farmer in the Coromandel has discovered large stones or boulders on his property in places where they shouldn't be, and ones with markings that are not made by nature but painstakingly by human hand. In effect, these working solar observatories are scattered all over New Zealand in the form of an accurately placed hubstone to align with a prominent geographical feature on the solstice or equinox in order to check the accuracy of the ancient people's calendars. Auckland in particular, with its many volcanic cones, lends itself to an abundance of these solar observatories, as filmed by Maori television at the 21st of March equinox just past. Probably the most compelling evidence that these pre-Celtic were living in New Zealand around 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, and that they came from Ireland, is seen in the Bullen bowls, of which good examples are found near the Bombay Hills in Auckland. These are also abundant in the Irish Neolithic culture and used as either blessing or cursing altars, the forerunner of the Christian baptismal font. The silence by New Zealand authorities on our archaeological past is deafening, none more so than in the Northland Waipua forest, where in the late 80s, a couple of $1 million was spent of taxpayers' money on an archaeological exploration which discovered evidence of an ancient civilization in a small section of this vast forest. worship, irrigation canals, stone houses, hearths and walls has been suppressed by government order until the year 2063. The big question is, why is this information suppressed? The government must come clean on this, and we as a nation must cooperate to learn more of our past and celebrate these very early mathematicians and surveyors who are the real tangata whenua of New Zealand.
Yeah, now we're sitting under the trees, under some pine trees, just down from the standing stones. And while we're here, I thought I'd read you a bit from Martin Dotry. Although dynamic solar observatories such as this, predating the epoch of the Polynesian Maori by thousands of years, are everywhere present across the New Zealand landscape, our conformist archaeologists will never divulge these unmentionable truths to the general public concerning New Zealand's long-term history. Folks, what's going on in New Zealand is an absolute disgrace. Our history is false all the way through.
Yeah, now folks, after filming that clip, everything turned to custard when we decided to go directly down the hill from there. Now, this is an old image of Tahanga Hill. Right now, there is only a thin band of pine trees around here, and there's grass below that. And for some reason, we assumed it was going to be the same on the other side, but it wasn't. It was very steep bush with very thick undergrowth, all the way down to sea level. It never seemed to end. And we got scratched to hell. And it took us about 2 hours to get back to the car. Yeah, now folks, if you do decide to go to these standing stones, don't trespass like we did. Get permission from the farmer first, because there is a road nearly all the way to the top.